Star Wars 7 by 7 episode 2607. So we didn't get to have the big event in 2020 with Star Wars Celebration, and we got one coming up in 2022. But in the in-between years, there's often an event that gets to happen where some Star Wars information still does come out. And I'm going to give you an update on that particular event today. Punch it. Hey Rebel Rouser, I'm Alan Voivod and this is Star Wars 7 by 7, your daily dose of Star Wars joy, and thank you so much for joining me for it. And if you're joining me for the video version, again, we are out of the studio because, as I mentioned on yesterday's show, we are helping our son to quarantine after his exposure to a positive case of COVID-19, and thankfully he is still doing just fine. Fingers crossed that everything will be okay, but yeah, in the meantime, you're going to see some different backgrounds for things, and, you know, hardly the most important thing out of all of these things, but yeah, just, you know, in case you're wondering what's going on. Anyway, so let's talk about the D23 Expo, which is actually being called Destination D23 for 2021. That event happens every other year. It usually happens in Anaheim at the Anaheim Convention Center, but this year it's happening at Walt Disney World, and they are celebrating 50 years of Walt Disney World. So it makes sense that it would be happening there for sure. And the event this year is taking place, well, usually it takes place in the month of August actually, but this time it's taking place in November. It is November 19th through 21st. And that's interesting timing too, especially when you consider that just last week or the week before at the Disney investor earnings call, they announced that they were going to have their Disney Plus Day, this first annual event that features new content from across the company and is supposed to be a drive to get people to invest in the bundle for Disney Plus, including Hulu and ESPN. And so the event that's happening, the D23 thing, is happening exactly 1 week later, which means that, yeah, there's not necessarily any sort of preview that they can give for the Disney Plus event or anything like that. But what it does suggest is that they may not hold, they may hold stuff back for D23 that they're not going to reveal during the Disney Plus Day on November 12th, a week earlier. And that reminds me of the Disney Investor Day back in December of last year, where they announced all these new Star Wars projects, except for one key omission, and that was, of course, the Book of Boba Fett series, which was announced at the end of the final episode of Season 2 of The Mandalorian. But they are going to be talking about what's new and what's next for Disney Plus. There's going to be at least, one panel dedicated to that, and probably more. They haven't announced the full schedule of things yet, but the Disney Plus Day that's happening, that's going to be for the delivery of new stuff. It's not necessarily going to be what is to come. And there's been a report that filming is done for the Andor series. The principal photography has been completed. So, no, Andor will not be available in time for either Disney Plus Day or for this particular event. But it's possible that we might get a little bit of a sneak peek at Andor at this event because of the fact that filming is already done. Maybe they'll give us a little bit more tidbits about it. And I think we're operating under the presumption that the Book of Boba Fett is going to have already begun by this time, because it's supposed to be coming out in late 2021. And as we talked about recently, that doesn't necessarily mean that it won't come out like in the last week of December and then go into 2022. But yeah, it seems like that one will probably already be going. And so Andor would seem to be the thing where if they were going to give any kind of sneak preview of things, that would be it. Maybe they would do something similar to what they did for the Andor series, giving a little bit of a peek behind the scenes at Disney Investor Day with, conversations with Diego Luna and how he was sharing information and his excitement, and then all these, pre-production concept sketches and whatnot. Maybe they would do the same thing for the Kenobi series, because that would be the appropriate timing for it for sure. Then, of course, an update on The Mandalorian Season 3 would be nice. It would be nice. It would be fun. And so the other big thing that would relate to Star Wars is a what's new and what's next presentation for Disney parks, experiences, and products. And the way that applies to Star Wars primarily is the whole Galactic Star Cruiser thing. And that, of course, is opening in spring of 2022. So they talk about in the description about, updating people on what's happening with the most exciting projects going on, and of course Star Cruiser has to fall under that category. And so far, that's what we're looking at for Star Wars related stuff. But again, they haven't announced all of the panels and schedules or anything like that. So there's probably more to come in that regard. And one thing they did say is that if you're not able to attend, which, you know, at least personally for me, I'm not able to attend. So I'm going to be keeping on the developments, or keeping my eye on the developments online. But they are going to stream a select subset of panels, and more information about that will be released later this year, so we'll be keeping an eye out for that as well. And yeah, in maybe a month or so we'll check in on it again and see what new news has been released for it. But for now, that is going to do it on the update for the next big event that has anything to do with announcing anything Star Wars related, which is the D23 Expo. Unless, of course, Gamescom comes out with something great around Star Wars video gaming later this month, but we'll be checking in on that as well. And that is going to do it for this episode of the show. It just remains for me to say thank you so much for joining me for it, as always, and may the Force be with you wherever in the world you may be.
7 is not endorsed or sponsored yet by Lucasfilm Limited, Disney, or 20th Century Fox, and is intended for entertainment and information purposes only. Star Wars, the Star Wars logo, all names and pictures of Star Wars characters, vehicles, and any other Star Wars related items are registered trademarks and/or copyrights of Lucasfilm Limited, or their respective trademark and copyright holders. May the Force be with them. All original content is copyright 2021 by Star Wars 7x7. We hope you love it.